present time. Right, 20 stroke 01248 stroke FUL. Single story detached store to rear of property at 12 Rhodes Place, which I believe the consultation was supposed to close today. Have you any update on that, Tracy, please?
No update, only that I will, any decision the committee make, I will respond straight after this meeting so it is submitted in time for the deadline.
Okay, well, I can't, as you say, we can't bring the plans up, so I can't see what's trying to be achieved there, to be quite honest. I mean, basically, look, a detached store, what is that? It's a shed, isn't it? Basically.
Can I speak, right. Chair? Sorry, Chair, yeah. I should have put my hand up. I did have a look at the application when it came out. It looks like it's a brick-built building at the back of the garden that has been identified as a store. The only consideration would be whether it complies with the requirements of the amount of space being taken up within the rear of the garden, with regards to the size of the garden. Overall, I can't see any other issue with it, apart from that when I looked at it.
That's a good point. Anybody else? No? Right. Okay, that's a good point, Ray. I think that's probably a good idea to suggest to Milton Keynes Council that in this circumstance we need confirmation that it's not exceeding the percentage allowed for development of a garden area. Because I can't access it, as you say, we can't access it at the moment, so it doesn't help.
If I remember correctly, it was the width of the rear garden, so it was as wide as the property, but it wasn't attached to the property. It was right at the back fence. Okay,
but how far was it coming down towards the house?
It looks a sizable amount, but again, you know, I would ask the question: does it conform with the? I think it's 20% or 25% of the garden, isn't it? If I remember rightly. Looking at planning applications.
Right. Okay. We can ask that, Tracy. I think that's probably the only answer we can put. Has anybody else has got anything to say on it?
Yes. Well, my observation of it was that it looks like they would probably end up accessing the store from the car park that it backs onto at the shops. If this is what I think it is. So it's right at the back of their private property, and it's going to be a store. It'll be a headache from the house. But if they access it from the car park, which is immediately behind it, are they allowed to do that?
Don't know.
No.
Can't answer that. Yes, Ray.
Yeah, just coming back with what Val was saying, that was correct. It does back onto the car park behind the industrial buildings at the bottom. The only thing I would say was that on the plans there was no door access on the back of that building. Now, whether that may come later, perhaps they just want to get it in and then cut a door in afterwards, I don't know.
Okay.
But that's a good point, Val, actually. That was a very good point.
Anybody else wish to speak? No?
No, sir.
Well, we need a recommendation. What I've put forward is a suggestion, really, that we get clarification. Would that be a good suggestion?
Yeah, I would support that, Chair.
Okay, thank you. All in favour? Good. Right, we'll do that. Next one is Installation of timber frame extension of existing courtyard at Christian Centre, Stradwick Drive. Do we need to discuss this, or anybody got any suggestions?
Sorry, Chair. Again, I looked at this. I couldn't see anything that was out of the norm, really. And
No.
on my comments on my agenda paperwork, I put just no comment. So
Yeah, that would be my feeling. Val,
Yes, not a problem.
Penny,
Yeah, that's fine.
no comment. I think is the answer then.
No comment. Yeah.
All agreed?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Hands in the air. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Okay. Right. Next one is a little bit follow on from last month, I believe, where variations of condition, 1 approved plans and external materials and 5 boundary treatment attached to planning application to alter the external design of a approved scheme at 6 Ketton Close, Willen. Now, last month, I believe there was a notification of asking to discharge this, but it was notification only. Now this appears to be a full application for variation. Now, obviously, this property has got a lot of history with what's gone on in the past, and I believe they did get turned down with what they requested to use as materials. Obviously, we can't look it up; it's too far ago. But I believe that was the case. Would Dominic remember that? No, perhaps he wouldn't. Okay. There was a problem with the materials that the household was trying to use because it wasn't in keeping with the rest of the little cul-de-sac it was in. But I don't know where we stand in objecting to variations of conditions.
Yeah, I've got my hand up. I don't know. The original application for this property was 2017.
Yeah.
It's taken forever to get on with it. It's a mess round there.
Yeah.
The house is a mess. The poor woman next door has had some work going on at number 4 and this continuing. And he keeps asking for changes of material and all sorts. It's hard to tell what's going on there, what he's actually trying to change at this point. So, I mean, it's one of these changing from a bungalow to what is turning out to be a 3-storey house.
Yeah, I believe we had agreement for 2 stories.
Well, you go look at it. It looks like 3 stories.
I think we need to refer this. We should ask for DCC to deal with this.
Yes, yeah, that would be a good idea.
And we will then turn up and go through it bit by bit.
Yeah, I did have a look at the plans.
Yeah.
And there was substantial stuff going on in the loft space.
Was there?
Yeah. And I'm not sure what the boundary treatment was. I know where it was. The original bungalow was actually attached to number 5, but now there is an alleyway down the side.
Yeah, that's right.
So some very strange changes there. Okay, so I don't know what we can object to, but it would be good if it was looked into, because there's 3 or 4 planning applications involved.
Yes.
With this.
I know there is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the long term, and they were turned down for quite a few things originally.
Yeah, change of
materials for a start.
But he wanted to go for a lesser quality stuff.
Really. Well, I would recommend we refer this. We ask for DCC to deal with this, and we put in an appearance.
Yeah, that would be great.
If anybody wants to back me up on that.
Yes, I would back you
Yes,
up.
Dominic. Dominic, you have your hand up. Dominic?
sorry, Brian, I have my hand up as well. So
Okay, go on then, Ray.
yeah,
Can you hear me, Chair?
just to confirm with Val, really. Sorry, shall I carry on speaking or Dominic?
Yes, please, Ray.
Yeah, sorry. It was just to confirm with Val, really. I put a massive question mark next to this because the amount of material and data that you're trying to unravel to get to the bottom of what they're actually trying to achieve, I just got totally confused by it all in the end. And you just didn't know how many variations have been done. And I think it needs to be cleared up and made very clear. And I think DCC is the place to highlight that.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay. Did you want to speak, Dominic?
Chair, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, right, I can now.
I think you've got to your own conclusion anyway, but Elaine has been monitoring the live stream, and she's just texted me to say you are absolutely right. You can object to the changes that are as proposed.
Yeah. Because and refer it to DCC, which is what we want to do.
Okay.
Ask for it referred to DCC, and that's the best way to deal with this, because this goes back a long way. Okay, thank you. Right. We're having a vote on that, please. All in favour? Hands in the air. Use the old system. Thank you. Next one. Next one. First floor infill extension of 66 Gurnards Avenue, Fishermead. Who wants to speak on this?
I do. Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
The thing is, when it says infill extension, does that mean the balcony?
Normally.
Right. Okay. So they just want to make it into a little room then?
Presumably.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yes, Ray.
Do you think it's a HIMO already?
I don't know.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Yeah, again, I looked at this. It is the infill of the front balcony on the property, which, in my opinion, is still within their boundary lines and is not exceeding the boundary line. Therefore, from my perspective, I have no comments regarding that whatsoever.
Okay, thank you. Val, do you wish to say anything?
No, nothing really.
Okay.
Especially without being able to look at the plans.
Right. So, Ray, you proposing no comment?
Yes, Chair. I would propose no comment because basically it's a standard infill that's been used on a number of locations within that area, and it doesn't extend outside of the boundary of the building anyway.
Right. Thank you. We vote on that then, please. Hands up. All agreed. Thank you. Right. Okay. There's follows two that I would like to take together because they're both concern the cross keys at 34 Newport Road.
Yeah.
And it's basically they're both asking for the same thing for erection of a temporary outdoor bar counter in view of the present circumstances, but they've asked separately because they need listed building consent because it is a listed building. I can see what they're asking for. As long as it's agreed as temporary, I have no objections. If anybody else wants to speak? Yes, Ray.
Yeah, again, Chair, thank you very much. I looked at both of these. Obviously, with the COVID-19 situation and the change in the situation of restaurants and pubs being reopened in the near future, basically, I think all they're trying to do is to get a service of some sort with regard to beer service and meeting the requirements of the COVID-19 and self-distancing. So as a temporary measure, the only concern I would have is, and rightly so from their perspective, they haven't put a time scale on it because we don't know how long this potential situation is going to continue.
Okay, I appreciate that. It does say it's a timber structure, so I'm sure it can be easily dismantled. Val, do you want to say anything?
No, I'm sure nice couple of lads working down there. If this helps them open up and they do it in due consideration for the listed building, then fine.
Yeah. Okay. From my point of view, if the council have no objection to it, nor have I. Penny?
I assume that this will be quite swift, really, considering they're going to open next Saturday. So, yeah. Right then.
Up to the council, not to us. So what are we saying? No comment or?
No comment.
Yeah,
No comment?
Yeah.
No comment.
No comment.
Right, thank you. Right, on to these 2 extra ones. First one, this will concern you, David, if you're listening. Good. It's the replacement of a ground floor side window with multi-fold door set, in other words, bifold doors, to match existing at Flat 3 Silverstone House on Newport Road. First of all, what concerns me on this is the word I missed out, which is retrospective, which is telling me they've already whipped them out and done it without permission, when the owners fully know, the freeholders fully know that what was agreed strictly through a planning process and should be strictly adhered to. That's my comment. Did you want to speak, David? Hello?
Yeah, thank you. No, I've got no comment. As I say, I think there's only 3 of the flats occupied at present. One of the householders that was making a complaint before about car parking in the house, they've now put their property up to sale, so they're going. It's very quiet down there. There's not much going on at all, but I do note what you say.
Thank you. Ray?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Chair. My hand up. Sorry.
No, just asking if you had any comment.
To be honest, I haven't actually seen this because when I wanted to go on, the portal was down, so I'm not fully aware of the conditions. If there's been previous conditions, though, as a committee, that they should be respecting planning applications and following the appropriate guidelines. I don't agree with a no comment on this due to that. If it's retrospectively after being told that they shouldn't be doing it, that's not acceptable.
I mean, just to sort of, it's probably some of this was before you came on board, but there was a major kerfuffle, shall we say, about what they wanted to do and the number of flats they wanted to put in place and the annexing of some outside grounds that they wanted to sort of incorporate within it, and the problem to the neighbours over the back and on the front and on the side. They first of all, they did get agreement for the number of flats they now have. And on this agreement were designs that were a part of the agreement. And it seems to me they're trying to alter one of those designs retrospectively, which is not on the agreement. Anybody else want to comment?
Okay. No.
Val? No.
No, I don't think there's much we can. Would we have challenged it had the application been not retrospective? If we were looking at it before it was done, would we have objected to it?
Only part of the contentious issues was the siting of things like windows in these apartments and overlooking fully established houses, not only in Newport Road, but also in Buttermere Close, whatever it's Buttermere Close out the back, Butterfield Close out the back, because it was a big building and they were looking over into gardens. I appreciate this is on the ground floor, so probably not so much would apply, but it does mean they do have an additional access point that might not have been acceptable. That's all I'm thinking. Yes, David.
Yeah, all I was going to ask, Chair, is that what you're talking about is in terms of planning previous to that. But if the person who's got the flat has purchased the flat, then they may not be aware of that and they may have just wanted to change the window to a door for themselves. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Let me answer that because, one, they should be aware of it, because two, as I understand it, they're leasehold flats, not freehold. So the freeholder should certainly be made them aware of that. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, Chair.
Hello? Yeah, so, okay, yeah. Anybody want to make a proposal, or do we just say no comment?
Yeah, I'll propose
No
no
comment.
comment then, Chair.
Okay, I'm not totally happy with it, but whatever, as I say. If it had been a real contentious issue, I do feel that with all what went on before, one of the people in the locality would have come forward and put something on the website to object to it. But obviously we can't check that, that's the problem. But okay, we'll say no comment then. Okay, all right, thank you. Yes? Right. Last but not least, single-storey front extension, works to the front and side, including new paving, new boundary wall and gate to the side at 133 Kirkstall Place, Oldbrook. Right, we've only had this come through today, and obviously, one, we can't log on, and two, only just seeing it this evening, I've had no chance to go and have a look at the property, which I would do, being an Oldbrook. So, I would like to ask indulgence of the committee that I get a chance to look at this before we reply.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'd like to have a look at that as well, Brian. Sorry,
Okay,
Chair.
fine. Yeah, it's okay, it's fine. No, okay. So I believe we are in our rights to sort of withhold our reply at the moment. There's plenty of time for it, isn't there, Clark?
The deadline for the responses is before the next planning committee, which is why it's been tabled. The deadline for responses is the 27th of July.
Thank you.
So yes, it would. So whether you may want for it to consider it and it be commented on at council possibly, but yeah, the next planning meeting is not till the 3rd of August, I believe. So
that would be fine because we can put our observations in at the council meeting. Yes, Ray.
Sorry, can you just confirm the number, the house number again, please?
133 Kirkstall Place.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Chair.
Thank you. So we're going to defer that, if that's okay. I'll agree with that.
Yep.
Yep.
To the council meeting. Thank you. Okay. Right. We've got 2 licensing applications, or is it the same one? Is it? No. We've got a Mr. Whippy one that's come through again. Again, same. I think the same rules apply to what we're saying with every one of these that we get. That they are restricted and mustn't trade with any 250 metres of any of the school entrances, normal closing time, etc., etc. I think that's about as far as we can go, isn't it? With that, unless anybody's got any other ideas. I can't really see where this is. Just says borough wide, Mr. Whippy. Yep. Assuming that covers most of them.
No comment.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment.
Okay. And the next one is one on the original agenda, Best Kebab 2, trading at Springfield Boulevard, Monday to Sunday. I believe that's the same hour. Commented in the past, so we should offer no comment.
No comment.
Agreed.
In agreement?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Right. Item number 6, update on past representations. There's a whole list there. And 6B, refused was one of the telecommunications masks. Very interesting at Newlands. But they agreed the one in Saxon Street and Dexter Avenue. Yeah. Okay. There's no new appeals received. Update on appeals in progress. Annex A, committee are invited to note there's no updated information on appeals in progress. Again, this is probably this is part of the problem, Tracy, that's going on at the moment. You think?
The DCC meetings don't seem to have such a substantial agenda now they're meeting online as they normally do. So a lot of I used to obtain the appeals information from their supporting documentation, but the last couple of DCC meetings I looked at, they've not had those published, so I wasn't able to extract any information to add.
Oh, no problem. Okay, so there's no. Okay, we'll move on then. Consultations, none.
Sorry, Chair.
Yes.
Just can I ask a question, Chair? With regards to that, is it because they're not producing it that we're not seeing it, or is it because the amount of as you say, the meeting's been trimmed down so much that there isn't that much to talk about? I don't want to let these people get out clause saying, oh yeah, well, you know, if they're just not printing because they can't be bothered to do it. Does that make sense, Tracy? Sorry, yeah.
We normally get a direct notification if there's a new appeal that's gone through in our area, so we'd get that directly, but I'm not sure what the situation is as to why those update papers aren't being produced, to be honest. I can ask the question.
I think it would be worth at least if asking the question. It may be that they've put appeals on hold because of the situation at the present time.
Possibly. Good point.
Yeah.
Yes, if you could ask that, please, Tracy, that'd be good. Yeah. Okay. Number 9, 42 Portland Drive, Willen. Committee is invited to note that the inquiry has been rearranged to open at 10 o'clock on 16th of September 2020 and is scheduled for 3 days. The venue will be Margaret Powell House, 417 Midsummer Boulevard. We have been invited to put a case forward to speak, I believe. Is that correct, Clark?
Yeah, I think you can turn up on the first day and request to speak. So
yeah. And I have requested full transcripts, as Tracy will know, of all the submissions, and I am going to go through all of it with a fine-tooth comb, make some notes, and I shall liaise with certain Mr. Herman and see if we can put something together from our point of view that will incorporate the non-adherence to our plan.
Excellent.
I think that's a fair point. Would I have backing for that from the committee?
Yes, of course.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Of course, yes.
I think.
Could I just ask?
Yes.
Have they still been building while we're in lockdown, or has it gone quiet?
I think most of what he's trying to achieve has been done, except some adjustments. Is that correct, Val?
Yeah, he's sort of finishing things off, tidying it up. Otherwise, he's completed the build.
As much as he's allowed to do. Or
what would the appearance of the building be like now?
Now?
Yeah, how does it appear? Does it look any better than it did?
Oh, no, he has made no difference to what he was planning to do. That's all gone ahead. Yeah. It's still a large edifice.
So it's just a monstrosity, really, then?
It's not a two-storey house as agreed, put it that way.
Okay, right.
Far from it. But obviously we'll update that. So I've taken the second part in it. Further updates I've had all the information from the transcripts that have been submitted so far, and I will be putting some further action forward that can come up probably before the next meeting, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, right. Apart from that, there's not much else we can do. Don't think there's anything else, Tracy, has come through, or is there? No?
No,
right.
that's all.
Anybody else got anything to add that we can deal with at the present time?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. I declare the planning meeting closed. Date of next meeting is Monday, 3rd of August.
Lovely, thanks, Chair.
Thank you.